Welcome to the Wittering Why podcast, a largely irrelevant and sometimes irreverent case study on built wells and the surrounding areas. This mini-series is brought to you by the esteemed Jungle John and yours truly, Elwyn Davis. Before we get into this week's episode, we'd like to take this opportunity to promote the Beef Up Bilth hashtag. Beef Up Bilth is a campaign run by volunteers and the team here at Pixelhaze to inject some life and energy into the beautiful mid-Wales town of Bilth Wells. Without any further ado, let's jump into this week's episode.
Hello, we've made it to episode 3 and we survived so far. Hope you have too. In this episode today, we are delighted and a little bit stunned that we've managed to get this one over the line, but we'll be interviewing Bilth Wells' very own Olympian, Natalie Powell, and that interview will be coming up shortly. So if you want to skip ahead to that, probably skip on a few more minutes and you can ignore the rest of the
fast forward
the waffle that we're going to be running through in this first part. So Jungle, what's been happening over the last few weeks? How's the walk going?
The walk, I just passed through 150.
Congratulations.
Yes, it was done quietly one misty morning. And it's going really well. So as I've said before, it's all about doing it for community support, and also this hashtag 365 Just Ask. I know lots of organisations do some wonderful stuff about mental health, have the awareness weeks, but it's always good to ask how someone is about their well-being. It's just you can do that anytime you want. So I'm promoting that really, and then the other thing is linked to this, all that we're doing together here. Hashtag Beef It Up Bilth. It's all about raising the profile of
Beef Up Bilth.
Yeah, Beef Up Bilth. Yeah, hashtag Beef Up Bilth.
Yeah,
it's all about that. So the walk's going really well. I'll be coming up to halfway soon, the middle of August.
Fantastic. So
yeah.
So how many trips will that be for halfway point?
Oh, no, you're gonna have to do my maths though. Well, it's half of 365.
So about 183, you'll be over halfway. Yeah, there we go.
Definitely 183.
So
but as you touched on, it was really good to have been a really interesting chat with Natalie. So
have you started hallucinating yet?
Not at all.
Oh,
not at all. They'll always be there.
They'll always be there. Well, unless you've worn it down by the end of the year.
No, it's going really well. And I can't thank enough the people that are joining me on the way around and giving support to this little pilgrimage I'm on for the year. So it's going.
Excellent challenge. Really positive to hear that you're still kind of.
Oh yeah, I'm still hanging in there. And I think I did invite Natalie, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
I did.
So so the way this format works is we run through the interview first, and then we kind of add the introduction afterwards. So even though we record it afterwards, we're recording it as if it's beforehand. And if you're still with me, well done. So the whole point is that we prioritize these interviews because we didn't expect to have them, to be honest. First of all, to have Nikki Grace, then Natalie Powell. It's
two good celebrities.
Two and right at the top of their field as well. Yeah. And then there's us too. So we'll be bringing on that interview shortly. We had a few technical issues with this week's particular podcast.
Which we were very grateful for Natalie helping us out on.
Yeah. So one of us was calm under pressure and it wasn't either of us. So we're really excited to bring in Natalie and we hope you really enjoy this interview, and also we strongly encourage you send a message across on Facebook or any forms of social media to get behind Natalie as she represents Bilth, Wales, and the United Kingdom in the Olympics.
Anything you see on social media, just get behind her with words of encouragement. It's for a small town to have an Olympic athlete representing their countries, and for the second time as well. It's just, and you'll see in the interview how open she is and honest about her training and how she got into the sport. So
absolutely. Well, that's enough from us. Over to the interview. Hope you enjoy.
Before something else goes wrong, might just start off. I probably won't even edit this out. So,
well, we haven't been editing anything else out there, Elwyn. This will be the beauty of the podcast.
Yeah. So, welcome to episode 3 of the Wittering Why podcast. This one's been a technical challenge after the breeze that the first two have been. My internet connection is down at home, which also means My backup connection's down because we use 4G, so I'm up on the top of Epping. So that's why there's a little bit of wind in the background, but we can't control the weather up here, that's for sure. We've also had some connectivity difficulties with it, but I think we're here now, and we're very excited to introduce Natalie Powell, who's Builtwell's own Olympian, and she'll be talking to us about how she's getting on with preparation for the Tokyo Olympics in just a couple of weeks' time. Hi, Natalie, how are you doing?
Hey, I'm good, thank you. Thanks for asking me on.
No worries. Thank you for coming on this very professional show we've got running here at the moment. So how are you getting on? And also, would it be possible just to kind of give a little bit of a background to those people who are, I don't know, living in a closet somewhere who don't know about your trials and tribulations in judo?
Oh, well, that's a big, broad question. Where do we start with that?
Yeah.
Natalie, can I just jump in there? Can I just say, hello, Natalie?
Hi, Simon. Or Jungle, or
Yeah,
which one?
Jungle, people do, but Simon, okay. I like that. I'll let you you can call me Simon, Natalie, right? I suppose, where did it all start for you, Natalie? How did you get into the judo? What got you involved with it?
Well, I started back when I was 8. So a few of the boys in my class, actually, yeah, I think there's boys or girls, a few of them anyway, they would do it joining Irvine Judo Club in Belfast. And every night at home, I was just fighting my dad in the kitchen all the time, like vases off the thing, hitting chairs and furniture. And my mum was getting very annoyed with it. So she felt like I needed to channel my energy somewhere. So she thought, oh, I know exactly the place to take you. So yeah, I went along to Irvine Judo Club and really enjoyed it, and never looked back, really.
Was there ever? Did you try any other sports, Natalie, on the way? Was judo your first connection, first love to it, or was it any other sports on the way?
Yeah, I loved every sport. I think, yeah, sport is my passion. It always has been. I did, what did I do? Football, gymnastics, netball, tennis, athletics, anything I could get my hands on, really. I loved everything sporty. I think all my spare time all the way through primary school, secondary school was spent in some sort of sporting arena, be the athletics track or dojo, or yeah, just couldn't get enough of it.
Did you have a moment then when you thought, right, I got the edge for this judo, and other coaches were saying to you, oh, that Natalie Powell, there's something about that young woman there. Do you remember that moment, or was it a series of moments?
It wasn't really like that for me in judo, to be honest. Like, I've always did it from a young age, and it was always kind of in the background a little bit. I mean, it's a sport that you do in the summer and the winter, whereas a lot of the sports I did, like tennis, was just summer, or athletics, I preferred the summer season to the winter season and stuff. So it was never my favorite sport. I would say tennis and netball and athletics were always my favorites going through. But judo was always there as a little constant in the background. And I think in other sports I was potentially better when I was younger, whereas judo,
all right,
I was never the best in judo growing up. Like I'd get medals here and there, but when we think about British standard, I was never number 1. I was maybe like 3 or 4 coming through the junior cadets like system. So it wasn't until I got to seniors that I really started to progress in judo. So yeah, it was never my favorite sport, but it seemed to be the one that stuck. And as the others fell by the wayside, yeah, just kept with that one, really.
Well, I think you chose wisely.
To be honest, I think I would have gone with athletics if I didn't get injured. So yeah.
Okay, yes. Go ahead, Alan.
Yeah. So how's preparation gone for this year's Olympics? Because I'm assuming it hasn't been ideal due to COVID and the delay.
No, it's been crazy. It's been a crazy year for sure. I think any Olympic cycle is very hectic, and yeah, 4 years is a long time to be channeling all your energy in one direction and being really professional. So when you suddenly find out there's an extra year on the cards, yeah, that's a lot to take. So yeah, I mean, the first few months of uncertainty when we went into lockdown and they were saying, oh, the games might be cancelled or it might be postponed. I think that was the worst part for me, because there was so much uncertainty around it, and it's really hard to get your head in the right frame of mind when you don't know whether it's going ahead, it's not going ahead, or yeah. So I think once they finally said that it's going to get postponed for a year, that brought me a lot more clarity then, and I was able to really focus my mind and just train then. I was really lucky that Welsh Judo put me and my training partner and his girlfriend in a an Airbnb in Cardiff. So through the first lockdown of 3 months, we were able to do all my strength and conditioning work, and we had access to a private dojo as well. So we actually really made the most of it, and were able to make some gains in that time when everybody else wasn't really able to train.
Where are you at the minute, Natalie? Can I ask, where are you at the training camp? I saw a picture on Facebook with all your gear and your bags packed. I thought she's off to Japan. She's going, but you're not there at the minute, are you? No.
Yeah, I'm in Cardiff at the moment doing our final preparations now, and then we go out on the 20th. So what you saw was that we had kitting out and the announcement a couple of weeks ago. So that's when it was finalised that the team was finalised.
How does the kit compare this time, Natalie, to last time's kit? Better?
Yeah, so spoiled. The amount of kit and stuff we get is incredible. Like, we're very, very lucky to have the support team due to the national lottery funding, because we definitely get spoiled. I definitely think we've got the best kit when it comes to like all the
Yeah, right, I can say that. It was a nice big pile of bags you had there.
Yeah.
A bit more in hand, like you say, Natalie.
Yeah, you need to take somebody with me to carry it all.
Yeah. I suppose as Elwyn was talking about, the question I got for preparation for the last Olympics, which remind me, where was it? Sorry.
It was in Rio, the last one.
The Rio Olympics. How has the preparations compared? How are you feeling between now? What are you?
Yeah, it's different. It was definitely a different cycle last time, because last time I was younger and I was developing a lot more, and I had a head-to-head battle with another British girl, Gemma Gibbons, and she just won a medal in the previous Olympics. So I was the underdog. I was the one chasing and just trying to get past her. So I always felt like I was chasing. And by the time it got to the games, I felt like I was one of the favourites on the British team then to get a medal, because I was one of the only ones seeded. So then it was a lot. I felt really pressured and never been in that situation before. So it was different. And then this time I had a little bit of competition at the beginning, but the girl I was competing against got injured earlier on. So this year I could just focus on myself for the whole period. So it's been a lot more just focus on the games, whereas last cycle was a lot of focus on just qualifying. So just qualifying was a massive deal for me, whereas this time I wasn't so worried about qualifying. I felt like that I could do that. It's more about the games and preparing for that. So slightly different focus and just a bit older, a bit more experienced, and
wiser, Natalie.
Wiser. I'd like to think so, but you never know.
So tell me now, do you know when your first fight is? Is it fight? Am I my terminology there?
We call it fights or round.
Yeah.
So,
do you know who your first round competitor is? Would you know now or not?
Not yet. So in judo, all the fights happen on the same day. So I'll be competing on the 29th of July, and we find out the draw on the 22nd. So on the 22nd, I'll know who that first match will be. So, but because I'm seeded, I'll get a bye first round, so I'll have the winner of 2 people. So I still won't know exactly who I'm fighting, but I'll have been able to narrow it down to 2.
Excellent. Yeah. So if any children back in Mid Wales were watching or listening to this now, what advice would you give them if they were interested in following your footsteps and getting involved in judo?
I would say 100% go for it. I think get involved in any sport you possibly can. It just brings so much to your life, I think, socially, builds your confidence. Like with judo, I've been so lucky to travel the world and experience so many different cultures and things that I would never have done if I hadn't have got involved with sport. And I think the thing I like most about it is the challenge. It's not so much challenging yourself to be better than everybody else, but it's just improving on yourself. And I think that's the biggest thing. I think so many people look at other people and say, oh, I need to be better than her. Oh, I'm not as good as that. I'm not as good as that. But if you just look at yourself and can see that you're making progress every day, that's really fulfilling. Like, you might not be better than everybody in the world or everyone in your age category, but if you can see progress in yourself, I think that's a really fulfilling feeling.
Words indeed. So one thing we would like to say is, obviously we're all behind you. We'll be watching closely, and hope you bring something back to us in Mid Wales as well, without putting any more pressure on you, obviously.
I remember the last time, right, watching watching one of your fights there. My mother, we had a beanbag. I was watching it with my mother, and she just sort of attacked the beanbag. because she was getting so involved with it. And and doing both proud, Natalie. To have one Olympian and then a second Olympics, it's just amazing. And I know when I'm talking about both, everybody is 100% behind you.
Oh,
and we're all behind you. We're all so proud of you, Natalie.
Oh,
our Olympian.
Nice. Thank you.
Yeah, and as Elwyn says, just you'll be fine. I'm so looking forward to watching it. Tell me the date again. When you on first?
July.
Right. Okay. So can we book you then, Natalie, after the Olympics, or we're not allowed to speak to you during? Obviously not.
Can you what?
Can we book to speak to you after it's all finished?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, no problem at all.
We'd like that. Fancy you come up Garth Hill with me, Natalie. Do you fancy coming and walk up Garth Hill with me after it's all finished? Have you heard about that challenge?
I can't think of anything better to do.
What a view, Natalie. No, all the very best. And I know, Elwyn, just thank you for being part of the Wittering Y podcast. One of our first guests. How good is that?
That is no problem at all. Love chatting to you.
Yeah.